Now, y'all are playing nicer. Senator Ketron, this is your question first. No, excuse me, Ms. Matthews. For decades, state politicians have promised to make education in Tennessee a priority, and governor after governor has introduced new education initiatives. Yet test scores continue to lag behind the rest of the nation. What legislation will you support to reverse this trend? Debbie Matthews.
You know, state income tax is out of the question. But we do have to figure out a way to fund education and fund it on an international all-star level. And there's a lot of different things talked about that. And I know as a city council person, I watch designated sales tax revenue come in for highways and fuel, etc. I would like to revisit us taking a look at the structure of how sales tax is brought in and maybe designate part of a sales tax to go directly to education. You know, one thing right now that we have that's helping a lot of individuals, again, members of this audience, friends of mine, Murray and Marshall County, highest unemployment in the state. We, a few years ago, passed the Hope Scholarship Fund because it's here for families who need help sending their children if they have met the requirements to go on and to get a college education. Now, a couple of years ago, Senator Ketron took $90 million out of the Hope Scholarship Fund and put it in a weatherization program, which by law under the Hope Scholarship is, yes, that is able to be done. But over the next 5 years, we are looking at a shortfall for Hope Scholarships. I know as a city council person, we have had federal money come down to help us with weatherization projects. So I have asked Bill Ketron to please move the money out of the weatherization fund that has just been sitting there for 2 years and put it back into where we do not have a shortfall. Because when you have men and women who have lost their job, lost their insurance, could be losing their home, we want them to have the possibility to look at their child and say, you are not going to fall behind. You are going to be able to go on to school because you earned it. Now, I know currently no one has not gotten a scholarship yet, but the state is projecting a 5-year shortfall. We need to make sure that that is safe, taken care of, so we have effective financial security for our people. Thank you.
Would you like to repeat the question?
Sure. For decades, state politicians have promised to make education in Tennessee a priority. Governor after governor has introduced new education initiatives, yet test scores continue to lag behind the nation. What legislation will you support to reverse this trend?
Let's first talk about the weatherization program that Senator McNally introduced that I did support. Under the lottery, when we went to the polls back in 2002 to change the Constitution, it goes for 3 things. Money can be spent on the Hope Scholarship, it could be spent on capital outlay for local schools, and it can be spent on pre-K. Up until 2 years ago, we had done both, Hope Scholarship and pre-K. And that's when we were flush with money, okay? I voted for that bill because I saw a need of what was beginning to happen at the bottom before it started at the top of revenue starting to fall. I saw Murray County struggling with their budget. I saw Marshall County struggling with their budget. And when you can take money that was in excess, not money from the scholarships, it was excess from the proceeds, okay? Interest earned only that could be given to each county who applied for that amount of money for a grant to be put back into every local school that needed it, be it geothermal, be it thermopane windows, be it more insulation. Back into that. Bottom line is that's money that the county commission doesn't, when the school board comes and requests money in their budget from the county commission, that's less money the county commission has to ask from you, the taxpayers, because we're going to have to increase your property taxes. That was money saved. And right now, if you would have looked last month when the report came back to the Senate Education Committee on the lottery, I'm on the lottery oversight. There's not one child that has lost a lottery scholarship to this point. Over the next 5 years, the numbers are much better than what they were projecting back from June until August. So I think we're on the right track. We're staying on top of it, and I promise that I will. Thank you.
Ms. Matthews, rebuttal.
We've had $90 million pulled out of the Hope Scholarship Fund that is sitting. The projection on the AP wire said, I believe, 19 million next year, the year after 17.8 million, the year after that 20.3 million. Those numbers are not dead on, but it was an escalation like that. As a city council person, we have had federal funds to come in for weatherization projects, about $1.5 million worth, and we have spread those through the community. If Maury County or any other county needed those, I wish they had put those in instead of that money being set there for 2 years.
I lost track. Thank you. Bill. Thank you. Next question, Senator Ketron. A recent study found Tennessee is one of the bottom 2 states in the nation in spending federal stimulus money for infrastructure. Maury County has several bridges in need of repair. The proposed widening of 412 from I-65 to 31 has been delayed for many years. What can be done to expedite these projects and put people to work?
Widening Highway 412, if we started today, it would take approximately 10 years. There are no more fully funded state road contracts, 100% fully funded by the state. There has to be federal dollars. But if we start today, by the time you go through the easement process, acquiring the easements, by the time you go in and maybe have to condemn property, by the time you go through the engineering and you go through the environmental, it takes about 10 years to complete a stretch of road. You see how long it's taken on 840 just to expand it from Franklin to over to Dixon. That process is in the top, #1 priority in the NPO, and that is the West designation for TDOT, to make sure that that is the #1 priority for Maury County, that we get that expansion all the way out to the interstate by Cracker Barrel. But like I say, it's going to take some time in order to get that done. Bridges are a true concern. I've worked on bridges in every county in the 13th district of trying to get more infrastructure into that. To start a bridge, it takes anywhere from 4 to 5 years just to go through that process. But the stimulus money, folks, runs out in January. The money that is coming down from the federal government is gone. Then it becomes totally dependent upon us to make sure that we manage it, and how we correct that is shrinking government, taking that excess money and prioritizing with the local leadership in each community.
Thank you. David, you need to repeat it?
I think I'm okay. It's going to take 10 years. Bear Creek Pike has been on the list to be 4-laned for 20 years. 20 years. Mr. Ketron has been there 8 years. It has not been done. If it had been on that list, it should have been done and started in his first year of his administration. It doesn't take an economist to drive into Murfreesboro to see that your infrastructure makes it possible for jobs to come to your industry. Now, Mr. Ketron, sometimes I think the R behind your name stands for Rutherford County instead of Republican, because right now there's 5 interstate lanes going out to Murfreesboro. There's 4 lanes in and out on 5 different areas. It is all economic studies say 4 lanes going into a city determines their economic stature on bringing jobs and industry. We have been on that list for 20 years. Maury Countyans in this room, there are 3 major road projects going on in Lawrenceburg and Lawrence County. We have Highway 7 that is still down. We have holes in Highway 7 since the flood. Someone is not paying attention to Maury County. There are other things that are going on, major road projects, but somehow Maury County is not involved in those. Speaking of stimulus money, yes, Maury County got $30 million. I think Marshall County got 18 or 19. Rutherford County got $95 million of the state allotted stimulus money that came down here for a community that has had a 78% increase in jobs since August of 2008. Maury County is being neglected. That has to change. And with a new state senator, I believe it will.
Thank you. Please hold your applause. And Senator Ketron, 30 seconds.
Thank you. Well, let's talk about partisan politics since you brought it up. When Representative Tom Du Bois was there and myself, we were neglected because of the Democratic governor, Phil Bredesen. They went to every other county who had Democrats working in their community. And if you think Maury County's been neglected, what's wrong with your current representative? He's a Democrat. It's all about partisan politics. If you want to,
Thank you.
Senator Ketron, I didn't say anything about a Republican or a Democrat. I said Rutherford County versus Maury County.
I think you said an R behind my name.
It's Deborah's.
No, I'm sorry. I said Rutherford County. I'm sorry. Well, then I believe that it stands for Rutherford County instead of Republican. Tom DuBois did a great job for us as a rep. And I know it takes help from both of us as senators and reps to get things done. But frankly, 8 years is a long time. So either you can't get it done or you have failed to get it done. The accountability falls at your feet.
Thank you. Next question. And ladies and gentlemen, again, please hold your applause and your comments. Debbie Matthews, this question, if you would answer first. Partisan politics. How timely. Folks.